Hello, my name is Mekyle Mir, and this is my presentation on my research of dietary and lifestyle differences between Spain and the US. Here is an agenda for today. Start with a little bit about me, then introduction to my study, then we'll go over the studies, the three studies I analyzed, and then some key takeaways, and then talking about what should happen next, and then my citations. Oh, a little bit about me. I am from Vegas, grew up here. I've been here pretty much my whole life. I'm a junior in high school right now at the Meadows High School. What got me in this project originally was that so I tore my meniscus about a year ago in a hockey game, and it was I was out for 3 months. I had a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do and like a lot of time to reflect on myself. And I also been playing football since my freshman year in high school, and just in that environment, you got to be dialed in on your exercise and nutrition to be the best player you can be and just be as healthy as you can be. So, just combining the two, like I just wanted to get back on, I wanted to get back to playing so bad. I was like so concerned about what should I eat? What rehab exercise should I do? Well, what movements can I do right now to help my recovery get as fast as possible? And this kind of just helped me find my passion in health and human health in general. Then I visited Granada in Spain, and that's why I developed my hypothesis from analyzing the lifestyle there. So, introduction to the study. The issue I'm concerned of is obesity and being overweight. 60% of women in the world and 50% of men in the world are obese or overweight right now, and that's obviously going to lead to a multitude of health problems. Another thing is that in the 20th century, there's a 50% increase of overweight adolescents and children. That is especially that's worse because these if they don't lose the weight, these children, adolescents, if they can't lose the weight before they hit adulthood, and it becomes much harder to lose the weight as an adult. And it's already hard enough as a kid. You're not as mature to lose weight. And then obviously the US has a higher obesity rate than Spain. What we conclude from the study was that walking intervals help with weight loss, and eating a surplus of processed foods positively correlates with caloric surplus. There's also positive correlation to experience health benefits of adherence to the Mediterranean diet is strong and exercise is strong. Here's some of the statistics I was just mentioning, putting on a graph so it's more it's visually representative on how big the difference is between US and Spain. Um, and then BMI to put into uh, give you context. So that if your BMI is under 25, you're considered in good shape. If you are above 25, you're considered overweight. And if you're above 30, then you're considered obese. You see, US is really close to pushing the obese the average weight of someone's obese. The average person is obese. So here's an introduction to the first study. So for one, the first interval I'm looking at is walking. And when I visited Granada, I mean this is a photo from Granada. This is how most of the streets look like. Obviously, you're gonna have they have actual roads and main roads for cars and driving, but most of the city looks like this. One-way roads. I don't even know how many cars can fit on this road. There's nowhere to park, so it's much more convenient for people just walk, um, to walk to places to get their groceries, to get their food, get clothes, whatever they need to get. This is just because of how the city was built. It's a historic building. However, in the US, it's a lot more car dependent here. There are cities where, like, New York, stuff like that, where you just walk everywhere. Chicago, where it's really busy on the road. But even them, they still have roads and you can still drive. Another example is here in Vegas. This city is not friendly for walking. It could take you like if I wanted to walk to school, it'd take me like probably take me like the whole day to get there. But just to but if I went in a car, take when I drive there, it takes 15 minutes. So it shows that like a lot of cities in America, just because of how new and urban they are, they don't really support walking everywhere. It's more of car dependent, which will lead to sedentary and less activity. My first study was the role of walking on the metabolic health. A randomized control trial done in Ireland in 2007 examined the effects of walking intervals in a sedentary group with an average age of 40 to 61. The three group the it split the participants into three groups. The first group was walking 5 days a week, and they had to walk for at least 30 minutes for 5 days a week. The second group did that for 3 days, and then the third group was just live your lifestyle as it is. The findings showed a twice as much decrease in hip and waist circumference for the 3 and 5 day group, showing the benefits of that supplemented walking that was in this. Oh, and to give background, the people that they analyzed, their job required them just to be sitting down all day, so and working at a desk. So that's why they were so sedentary. And just their lifestyle, they weren't really adding much exercise and walking into it. But another thing that the study mentions is the walking done in this study is below the bare minimum of recommended exercise per week. So you can imagine adding, well, for one, getting to the bare minimum of exercise per week, and then adding more than that will obviously increase the amount of health benefits you can get. For the next study, or really the next part I analyzed was diet, is an introduction to it. Ultra processed foods make up around a third of the daily intake in Spain. In the US, though, it makes up around in, in the US, it's about nearly double that. At almost two-thirds of the daily intake is ultra processed. This is a problem because it's going to lead to weight gain. They're lower nutritional content, so you're not going to feel as satiated. You just want to eat more until you get your nutrition at a more nutrition in, like more nutrients. And another thing is there's so much added sugar and oils in them that they're more calorie dense. It's so much easier for calories just to stack up and you don't even realize it because they don't fill you up at all. So the study I looked at was a randomized control trial from 2019. It split a group of 20 adults with an average age of 31 and an average BMI of 27 into two groups. The first group had a unprocessed diet and the second group had an ultra processed diet. The two groups ate those diet for 2 weeks and then they switched to the other diet for the next 2 weeks. So it was observed that whichever group was on the ultra processed diet ate an extra 1,000 calories a day and gained zero point 0.9 kilograms, give or take zero point 0.3 kilograms in the 2 week span. Then when on the unprocessed diet, they lost around that same weight in the 2 week span. And the same thing happened when they switched. One thing also important is that the diets are made so the macronutrients, sugar, sodium, and fiber were all identical. Oh, and the calories. So the meals that they were given. Now they were told to eat as much as you want and just eat like they weren't forced to just stuff it all down. Like they were told to eat as much as you want. But all those factors were made identical. So in the study, it suggests that the reason the calories per day were higher in the ultra processed diet was because it was not as nutrient dense as unprocessed food. The protein consumption was nearly identical in both groups. However, in the ultra processed diet, the reason they were eating 1,000 extra calories a day was from the surplus of carbs and fats they were eating, which you will find um in ultra processed foods. There's a lot of added sugar and oils, which will really rack up the calories quick. It was reported that hunger, fullness, satisfaction, and eating capacity were similar for both groups of participants. And another study from 2008, it was concluded that high protein diets are legitimate for weight management since they're more satiating than carbs and fats. So if they're not eating for one, it shows that they were eating until they got, at least with protein, they were eating a lot of food until the ultra processed group was eating enough food until they felt satiated in the amount of protein they ate. And another thing is, so it shows they're not eating a lot of protein because they had to overeat to get enough. And the other thing is that protein's much more satiating than carbs and fat. So it's much easier to eat more carbs and fat because it's not going to satiate you as much. But this shows that they were eating they kept eating until they felt satiated and it ended up being more for both groups, 1,000 calories or more. The third study I analyzed, it's not a randomized control trial, so it's not the strongest piece of evidence, but it still did bring interesting findings. It's a cross-sectional study from 2020, examined the diet of 310 freshmen from the University of Castilla-La Mancha during the 2017-2018 school year. Health was measured with the questionnaire, which gave a score based on the participants' physical health and mental health. They also took biometric markers such as height and waist circumference. And then they were physically tested on a hand grip strength and a cardiorespiratory test. The study suggests that the participants who adhered to the Mediterranean diet, they did not have physical and mental health benefits unless there was additional physical fitness along with the adherence to the Mediterranean diet. This shows that the quality of exercise and quality of diet they might be functioning together to improve mental and physical health. So it's not like you can have one or the other, you need to have both. And in context with the Spaniards in the US, there's Spaniards who are eating a Mediterranean diet, which is less processed, has a more higher nutrient value, and they're just naturally having to walk more just because of how the city's built out. Then they're going to have, so they're getting the exercise and they're getting the diet, and they're going to have a healthier lifestyle and healthier output than Americans who aren't doing those two things or only doing one of them. So some key takeaways from my presentation. Exercise like walking, it's going to help with weight management. But walking is the bare minimum. Supplementing with more exercise can be more beneficial to manage weight. Doesn't matter if it's, I mean, there's so many ways you can go about this. It's important to do what you like because you want to be able to do it consistently. If you don't like it, then you're not, it's hard to do it consistently. So whatever it is, like weight training, going on a run, maybe just walking a lot more than like a lot every day, it can help too. Yoga, Pilates, like whatever it is you like to do, it's important that you do that. Another takeaway is that ultra processed foods, it's gonna lead to caloric surplus or if it's not if it's not managed properly, if you're not in check with how much you're eating. I'm not gonna say don't eat ultra processed foods, that's very strict, but it you gotta know how like you gotta know what you're eating. It's very easy to just accidentally eat like or let's say you have a soda that's just straight sugar and water. It's really easy to drink a soda. You're still gonna be hungry and you just drank like 50, 60 grams of sugar and like almost 300, 400 calories. Very, so just it's important to know what you're eating and really tolerate how much you're eating because it will lead to caloric surplus if you're not careful. Then adherence to the Mediterranean diet combined with physical activity, it will help improve mental and physical health. So some next steps is there definitely needs to be a randomized controlled trial examining the effects of adequate exercise and nutrient consumption, like a more balanced out diet with adequate nutrient profile. This will help create a better understanding of how the two can function together and how we can apply it to us as humans to live as healthy as we can. More studies on the rapid evolution of technology and how it's creating a more sedentary lifestyle for humans. That definitely will help bring awareness to the surging lack of exercise in modern life. I mean, just it's really easy for it to go over our heads, but every day there's something coming out where it's like you don't have to get up and do something. They're making everything so convenient. For example, like shopping, you can get stuff delivered to your door every single day now. There's no point of even going to the store and getting it. They can just deliver it to you. Um, like when I was younger, I wanted to go get like football cards or video games from Target. I'd go there like 6 p.m. near the end of the day, and there would be like an hour you gotta wait to get just video games or football cards. Now on Black Friday, you go to Target, there's no one there because everyone's just I mean, you can just order it to your house. What's the point of going to the store to go get it? It's stuff like this that you don't realize it, but it's making it easier for humans to just sit down and not have to do anything all day. And one factor that wasn't accounted for in the study was accessibility to healthcare in the US and Spain. US, it obviously has its problems with healthcare. Everyone knows that. And it's really hard to get access for a lot of people because of the how the healthcare systems operate here. So if it's easier in Spain to get healthcare, then obviously, like if they can go to their doctor easier, then get treatment better, it's going to be easier for them to stay in shape and have a less body fat. Because someone here in America with an injury, if they can't get it checked out and now they're just living with an injured shoulder or something for a really long time, it's going to be hard for them to actually exercise or an injured knee. So stuff like that wasn't accounted for. And that is the end of my presentation. Here are my citations. And thank you all for watching.